ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री कृष्णाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः।
The conches had fallen silent. The armies still stood facing each other. But on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, a far greater battle had already begun. Not a battle of weapons, but a battle within the human heart. The greatest warrior of his age, Arjuna, stood shattered by doubt. His hands trembled, his mind clouded, his spirit overwhelmed by grief, attachment, and fear. Before him stood teachers, friends, elders, and members of his own family. How could he raise his bow against them? And so, on the very edge of war, Arjuna collapsed, not because he lacked courage, but because he was human. And in that moment of despair, when the world seemed to lose all meaning, Krishna spoke. What emerged on that battlefield was not merely advice for a warrior. It was a timeless dialogue between confusion and clarity, between fear and wisdom, between man and the divine. The Bhagavad Gita was born not in the silence of forests, nor in the isolation of caves, but amidst conflict, duty, pain, and impossible choices. And perhaps that is why its message still speaks to humanity today. For every person at some point in life stands where Arjuna once stood, torn between emotion and responsibility, between attachment and truth, between despair and action. The battlefield may change, but the inner struggle remains the same. Arjuna was not merely Krishna's disciple, he was his friend, a companion, a confidant, one who held a special place in Lord Krishna's heart. And Krishna too lived deeply within Arjuna's soul. The Bhagavad Gita is not a distant sermon. It is an intimate conversation between two souls standing at the edge of destiny. Perhaps Krishna's hand rested gently upon Arjuna's shoulder as he spoke these words of wisdom, words not meant only for that moment, but for all ages to come. You are my friend and my devotee. Therefore, I share with you the supreme secret. Such was the trust, such was the bond between Krishna and Arjuna. Why is Gita unique? The Vedas contain eternal wisdom. The Upanishads reveal profound truths, but the Gita holds a unique place among them. For the Bhagavad Gita is the Lord's own voice, not merely interpreted wisdom, not philosophy explained by others, but divine guidance spoken directly by Krishna himself. And though thousands of years have passed, its message has never faded, because the Gita does not belong only to saints, scholars, or ascetics. Its wisdom belongs to every human being who seeks clarity amid confusion. The Mahabharata is not only the story of an ancient war, it is also the story unfolding within every human heart. Within us, alive are both the Pandavas and the Kauravas. That is, noble thoughts and destructive impulses, discipline and temptation, compassion and anger, wisdom and attachment. And just as Arjuna stood confused upon the battlefield, human beings too struggle daily with fear, doubt, greed, ego, and sorrow. The Kurukshetra of the Gita is also the battlefield within each and every human heart. And Krishna's message is a path towards inner balance, clarity, courage, and peace. And so, as the armies of the Kauravas and Pandavas gathered upon the sacred land of Kurukshetra, a blind king, Dhritarashtra, asked a question that would begin one of humanity's greatest spiritual dialogues. What did my sons and the sons of Pandu do when they assembled on the holy field of Kurukshetra? And Sanjay began to speak. Before we begin this sacred journey through the Bhagavad Gita, there are a few thoughts worth keeping in mind. For many years, people have known the Mahabharata mainly through television serials, dramatic retellings, or visual depictions of its great events. And while those presentations have helped bring the story closer to millions, they can never fully express the depth, subtlety, and spiritual wisdom contained within the original scripture. The Bhagavad Gita is not merely a story to be watched, it is a scripture to be studied, reflected upon, and slowly absorbed into one's life. If possible, keep a copy of the Gita with you during these pravachans. Even reading a few shlokas each day can gradually transform one's understanding. And if you do not presently have a copy, there are many beautiful editions available today in Sanskrit, Hindi, and English. During this series, each shloka will first be recited in Sanskrit. Then its separate words and meanings will be explained so that even viewers unfamiliar with Sanskrit may follow with ease. The deeper meaning of each verse, its spiritual insight, and its practical relevance to life will then be discussed step by step, and slowly the wisdom of the Gita will begin to unfold naturally. The Gita is not meant only for scholars or saints. Its message belongs to every human being who seeks peace, clarity, strength, and direction in life. So, let's now enter this sacred dialogue with patience, attention, and an open heart.
ॐ श्रीकृष्णाय नमः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम्।